What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's Six Figure Flipper Show. What's up, Matt?
Hey, what's that going on?
Oh, nothing much, man. How are you doing?
Pretty good, dude. Pretty
We
good.
said somebody joined the group, I think. Let me see. Tim Wilson. Let's see. All right, guys. So tonight we got an awesome episode prepared for you guys. So tonight we're going to be talking about how to make thousands of dollars flipping game stuff. So Matt, did you want to, is your camera working or are you on your phone or?
It's saying you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
Oh no, the host. How dare that guy. Okay, hold on. Let me fix that for you. If you guys can hear us loud and clear, type live in the comments. Appreciate you guys. Video settings, maybe. Let's see here. You know, I always forget where this is at. Who can share? All panelists. Okay, try it now.
Hold on. Yeah, same.
All right, host. Okay, your host. There you go. That works.
Boom.
All right, guys. So tonight we're gonna be talking about how to flip some game consoles and how to make money flipping some game consoles. So Matt, guys, I wanted to bring Matt in to this group specifically because he is an expert on the topic. And Matt has been actually helping me out throughout the last couple of days, telling me what to buy, what not to buy. So guys, I'm not the only mentor here, right? So I want to bring people like this into these, I want to bring people like Matt specifically into teach you guys new ways and do new things and just to help you overall grow as a reseller. That's my entire goal. Honestly, it's become more and more apparent that this is, what I'm supposed to teach. I'm supposed to bring people together in this community. And that's me, man. That's what I do. And I've made really good friends with Matt. So Matt, dude, how's the game flipping life going?
Man, it's a lot of fun. Video games are fun. I got to be honest. That's why I got into it, because there's that taste of nostalgia that comes with getting into video games. If you ever connected or it kind of resonated with you as a kid. And so for me, it was like, yeah, it sounds like something fun to flip. So let's go try to flip some video games.
Yeah, there you go. That makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I don't know. It's more fun to flip stuff that you're interested in, don't you think?
Of course. I mean, I'm interested in all kinds of electronics, so I flip all kinds of electronics, right?
Absolutely.
I flipped a transmitter today, so I got it for
that's
free.
Cool.
So
right.
I like the things that I get for free, right? So
heck yes.
Yeah. So Matt, can you kind of give the backstory on like, your whole thing? I mean, you can talk about, David, I think you went in David's program first and then found reselling the game. I'll just let you tell your story. Like, I'm not
sure
step on it.
Yeah. So I was just trying to work at a side hustle. My wife wasn't working. And in the meanwhile, I was like, well, I got to do something. So for a while, I tried actually like recharging scooters around my city, which I don't know if you've ever messed with like Bird and Lime scooters, but I did that for like 6 to 8 months. And I made like 10 grand doing it, but it was a grind. And so I was like, okay, I need to do something else. And so I was just kind of searching around and I came across one flipping group that just flipped any kind of arbitrary stuff. And I was like, well, this is cool. But some of the things were like really big. And I was like, well, I think I'd like to flip electronics more because I'm interested in that kind of stuff. And so that's when I just started digging, and I can't remember if it was across Facebook or just the interwebs, but somehow I came across Dave's group. And then kind of through like being in that group and like being connected to other people, like there were like you were there. This was early on. This was maybe like a little more than 2 years ago. And there was a couple other guys that have since like done some reselling things. And so then I was like, well, I'm going to take the principles from here and from this distinct method I saw and had learned, and I'm going to apply it to the gaming stuff. And that's where, for me, it was good because I've always worked full time. I've been working full time since then. I work 40 to 50 hours a week, and I have a good paying job, and it's great. But at the same time, this gives me like more financial control over my situation. I like doing it. I like the entrepreneurial spirit behind it, and I like making extra money. So
There
why
you
wouldn't
go,
I do it?
dude. That's awesome. So you got into game. I know you're big into, I believe it's the retro games mostly, right? Like that's kind of where you really enjoy. It's also where you got a lot of not you got a lot of knowledge around it too. I've noticed.
Yeah. So this drawing a hard line in the sand here between retro and vintage.
Okay.
Vintage games are literally like older school games. They're like if you if the Atari was made in 1978, which most of them were kind of manufactured then a vintage game, would be an Atari from 1978. A retro game could be a new Atari that looks like an old Atari made in 1978. So vintage is also a retro, but retro isn't always vintage. A retro game is just something that looks like it's old and has that feel for nostalgia. So I specifically
Mm.
like flipping vintage consoles and kind of all the throwback stuff that you probably grew up playing on, including myself. But if I can find some of the newer models and stuff like that, I'll flip that too, just for kicks and giggles, because it's fun stuff.
That's awesome, man. So you flip a lot of PlayStations, you flip a lot of bundles, you flip a lot of like the quests. What the heck are those called again? The
Oculus Quest.
Oculus Quests, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that. Like, where did you start, learning about those specific things? I know we talked last week about that a little bit.
Yeah.
But you have like these very specific like protocols almost in place for these very specific items. Now you don't have to go into the full detail and give away all your secrets, but like how did you come to that point?
So it almost happened by accident. I was meeting people for different things, and I was really still kind of cutting my teeth on learning how to source and appraise correctly. And I bought an Oculus Quest CV1, which was the first Oculus Quest that launched a few years back. That headset I thought was legit. So I immediately just flipped it, and this guy bought it, and he was like, "Hey, this thing smells like cigarette smoke." And the the attachment near the ear on the head strap is busted. So I had to refund him, and he sent it back to me, and I was like, oh, dang. Well, I don't know if I can sell it. So I was able to fix the piece on the ear, and I was like, well, um, I just realized that I'd kind of been had, and it wasn't quite as much value as I'd paid for it. Not by a large margin, but by enough where it's like, if I sell it straight up, I'm going to break even.
Hmm.
So let me just kind of look and see what the headset sells for. So it's kind of a happy accident. I start
Yeah.
searching, and I'm like, okay, headset, controllers. Then I was like, okay, I'm seeing a trend here. So I look up literally all the pieces of the Oculus Quest CV1. I realized very suddenly that the sum of the parts is greater than the whole. So the headset, both controllers, like I pieced it out. I made my money back plus enough extra to where it just had my interest going. I was like, well, what if I could apply this to other like bundles that I could find? And it's actually kind of how it worked out. So after I parted that thing out, like I parted everything out. Like how like the Native Americans would consume all the parts of the buffalo.
Yeah.
Like that's what I did. I sold the headset, the controllers, the connectors, like the sensors that kind of go around to kind of gather the environment and make it like 180 or 360 so you can move around and do VR.
Yeah.
And then I even sold the box and then the box cover. So like I sold the box cover for $20 separate from all the other parts. And I was like, someone paid $20 for an Oculus Quest CV1 box cover. I don't know who that was, but I literally I flattened it. I put it between two pieces of cardboard, wrote "Do not bend," and I shipped it off. And I was like, cost like $5 or $7 to ship. And I was like, I just made like $10 or $15 on a box cover. that doesn't make sense to me, but somebody wanted it. And suddenly I realized you can sell anything
Can sell
and you can
anything.
part out all this stuff. I mean, if you think about it too, like when you buy an Apple product, people keep the box. They're like,
Yeah, they do. I mean, I bought one earlier, iPhone 11, and the person just randomly had the box. So I was like, they just had it. They just keep it. It's like a
right,
memorial. Like, interesting.
yeah. And those boxes auction off. Like I sell Dell computer boxes. I have a guy, he literally hits me up every 2 months and he just buys these Dell computer boxes I get from a librarian for free.
This is the stuff like this reselling gig is insane, dude. You
It's
know,
great.
like there's so many like avenues to make money in this space. And people like it blows my mind. People like, well, I don't know where to get started, right?
Yeah,
And I get that. Like I understand that too, because I used to be there, right?
yeah,
But now looking back, it's like, wow, like game consoles, freaking boxes, you
yeah.
know, like there's so many different ways and different things to resell that can make you money, right? So I like how you brought all that up because I sell some weird stuff. So I actually just gotten off an orientation with some students and I was showing them my eBay and there's like no phones on there. Like it's all cameras and like transmitters and GPSs,
Yeah.
so it's kind of funny. But so Matt, I wanted to ask if let's take the Oculus Quest, for example. We're not gonna give out your secrets on PS5 or anything. That's mostly for our inner circle,
Mhm.
program people,
Yeah.
right? So when it comes to the Oculus Quest, this is something that somebody could possibly, go out, look up tonight,
Mhm.
and possibly have a deal by tomorrow. Is that right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So why don't we, let's show them a little bit about that. Like let's show them your process on that. Because these
Sure.
are mostly local deals, is that right?
Yes.
So, it's very likely somebody can go out tonight or they can just look it up tonight, find one,
Yeah.
make an offer, and buy it tomorrow. It's
Mhm.
very possible. If you guys would like to see that, type yes in the comments. I know we got a couple of people watching. So we're just gonna go ahead and do it though. So I believe you can share your screen, Matt. You should
Yeah.
be able to since you're the host now. You run this show.
Yes, sir. Okay. Can you see?
Yep.
All right. Cool.
Oh, there's a dark mode on Facebook now. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready.
Cool. Okay. So, for those of you that are watching, here's one for the home team. So, easy thing, you can see I've got my different kind of sourcing outlets up here. I use a method known as the reach out method, where if Chris Schroeder is the undisputed king of ads and ad spend, and can literally like, you know, show you all the things to do with ads and how to bring people to you. Since I have a full time job, it sometimes is, or lots of times is more convenient for my schedule for me to just find the deals and go to them, because then I can go source whenever I want to. I can pick this up and I can put this down whenever I feel like it, and I don't have to be concerned about people, hitting me up and responding to all the folks that have cruised into my DMs. So if that is you, then maybe this is a really effective outlet for you. You can see I've got Facebook Marketplace up here. I've got OfferUp, I've got Craigslist, and I've got Nextdoor app. And these are probably the four most common apps I use, especially Facebook Marketplace, just because of the sheer volume of people on there and for the sheer volume of stuff that you can find. It sources the easiest and the fastest. And so let's say I want to find, you can see I've recently been searching here. So let's say I want to find the most recent Oculus. If you know anything about gaming consoles, when they release the newest model, those obviously get a lot of hype, and riding that hype wave is part of how you make money. So the most recent model of the Oculus Quest is the Oculus Quest 2. So let's say I just go in here and I search for this item, and it's going to bring it up. Okay, obviously I'm here where I've got the local pickup selected. I don't want to really focus on shipping items, so I want to curate the algorithm to tell me to find items that are local. And I usually search within a 100-mile radius. You can search in less of a mile radius if you want, just to keep it closer. But if I find a really good deal, I have driven roughly an hour to an hour and a half as far away from my home to buy a bundle of items if I can make really good on it. So just looking here on the Oculus Quest 2, there's already, I mean, this is literally first page right here. And Chris, since you know this, like I've already
I see one.
Yeah. So here's the thing, like once I did that, what I told you about with the Oculus CV1, when the new ones come out, it's kind of just still applies. And I don't know, I really don't even understand the market dynamic behind this, but it just is what it is. So let me kind of explain to you what it is. Let's say you want to go buy an Oculus Quest 2. The beautiful thing about these consoles, here's one. This is about maybe roughly an hour away from me. So I might go pick up this deal. I might not. You can see I've actually saw it. I found it earlier today. This was listed less than 24 hours ago. These move fast. I've noticed that a lot of these sell on Marketplace within 24 to 48 hours. Apparently people like to buy them, try them, and then ditch them. I've seen a lot of them. I've seen a
Every
lot of them moving
reseller's
since
dream right there.
Christmas. Yeah. And I'm okay with that because that's going to make me more money. So people bought a ton of these during Christmas. If the company's smart, then Sony and Nintendo and Oculus and all the different companies are going to make sure that they're releasing stuff around the holidays because they want to make money, right? And people are going to buy these. They scoop them up at MSRP, so they're going to pay $300 to $400 on these, depending on the model. These come in 3 different models. Oculus Quest 2 is 64, 128, and 256. And so if you can find any of the 128 or 256 for around this area, buy it. But I'd say regardless, this is still a good deal. And I'll explain to you why this is a good deal. Okay, so let's go over to our friend eBay. Let's look up the Oculus Quest 2. We'll specifically look up the 64 gig. You can see as a bundle, this thing sold for $275. That's pretty cool. But let's do this. Let's part the thing out and see what happens. Let's go to headset only. Okay, so this headset right here sold for $132. This one sold for about $150. This one sold for $130. So let's split the difference. There's 3 right there. And the sell-through rate on these it's fire. Like look at all these sales. So it's not just, this isn't just good money, it's fast money. I mean, if you could have big money or if you could have fast money, what would you want? How about both? Right? So, I mean, I'm saying, so that's part of the reason why you know this is a good deal. The sell-through rate is awesome. And I actually have one of these for sale right now myself, but it's got a busted strap. So we'll see if it goes soon. Okay, so let's split the difference here and say this headset sold for $140. Okay, well, remember, you reached out to this person and let's say hypothetically you got this for $200 and you've already bought it for $140. Yeah. So if I always subtract about 15% when I'm crunching my numbers. So if I sold this for $140, I'm at $120 more or less. That is roughly, that's almost, as well as about 2/3 of the way there, give or take, on making my money back. So let's do this. Let's also look up the controllers. So just like we did headset only, let's look up controller only. Okay, here's a right only, great condition, sold for $140. This one was broken. Let's make sure we go to used. And here's a little trick.
$139.
Yep. I sold one for the first one for $135. So here's a trick I like to do. I just Control F to search, and I just do pre-owned, and it's going to highlight those for me. So what I can do is I can cruise really fast when I'm trying to do my research here. So there's 139. Let's see, that one sold for 110, 145, 120, 154. So what I'm noticing is these sell on average for about $130. So put it all together. You have 2 controllers for $130 a piece. That's $260. And so if you just do some quick math here, and you don't have to be a rocket scientist, If you sell 2 controllers at $130 a pop, you're already $220.
Yep.
You've already made back your cost, and you haven't even sold your headset yet, and you're already $20 in profit. And then you still turn around and sell the headset, let's say for 140, 160, and this is a 64 gigabyte system. So whatever you make on the headset is just straight gravy. So let's say 140. Now I'm $360 that I've of money that I've made on this deal minus what I've spent. So that's $160 profit there on a $200 item. So doing the math, my ROI is 80%. That's good business, folks. I'll do that all day. Give me that deal all day. And please, Oculus, keep producing the new models, because I'm here to buy used on Facebook. So is Chris, and I'm sure the rest of you are at this point. I guarantee you're automatically searching for these in your area as I'm sharing this with you. But yeah, I shared this with a couple folks. I've already had yourself included. I've already had a few friends, fellow resellers that have bought these. Look, I think 250 at 250, even at 250, you can still make money on these, and the margins won't be as significant. But if you can get these for 200 or less, the one I recently bought, I bought for 180. Man, that is a killer deal. And not to mention, some of them have upgrades. People might sell these with the Elite head strap upgrade, which is like a $30 to $40 additional item. That's a nice upsell. If it has like a unique Oculus case, that makes it look even more attractive. You could even think about the cable, even reselling the cable separately. And I'll be honest, I haven't even done that. But like I said, the sum of the parts is greater than the whole. So if you can take this deal and break it down piece by piece, if you're willing, you can make some really good money. And the thing about this is it's still going to move pretty fast. Those other small things might not move quite as fast, but this will move quick, and it's great margins.
Fantastic. Awesome. So who is going to go out searching for some Oculus Quest tonight? So most of our people are on Facebook. So Alan says, oh yeah, awesome, good stuff. So yeah, awesome guys. So this is just one part of the whole gaming part of everything. For the most part, you can flip all kinds of gaming stuff. I know you do a lot of the PS5s and stuff like that. Is there any other type of like gaming consoles or something that you flip on a regular basis?
Well, that's a really good question. Yes. I feel like definitely don't sleep on the Oculus Quest 2. That's my best find lately, because that's still a very, really new release. I mean, that thing came out maybe 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I think older Xbox bundles are slept on by people too. I see those, and here's the cool thing is when the new thing comes out, people want to ride that hype wave and they get into gaming on that system. They kind of remember, like right now, PS5 super hot, right? It's hard to acquire, hard to get. PS4s are still actually being bought by a lot of resellers from GameStop when they drop, and they're still making about $50 a pop to direct buyers on new PS4s.
Yeah.
The PS4, it's not the best margins, but if you're willing to kind of leverage that much in expense to make a smaller amount of profit, you could still turn them quick with direct buyers if you can find those drops. But I like buying older Xbox bundles. I've sold some of those, and I also like older PS3 bundles, especially the Super Slim, the PS3 Super Slim. But here's kind of the real, I would say, like headspace you want to be in. Like if you're good at sourcing any kind of item, or you just know how to appraise the value by looking it up on eBay, from finding it on Marketplace, just like we did, and you find that you can maybe find a console like bundled with some items if you can find that bundle for roughly the cost of what you could resell the console for on eBay, then you're probably in the right ballpark. And that works like universally across like any platform, Nintendo or Sega or PlayStation or whatever. And that's essentially what, I've come to discover from doing this probably about, a little over 2 years.
Fantastic, man. So there's a lot of money to be made in game consoles, guys. Lots of money to be made. Don't sleep on them. I actually run ads specifically for PS4s. And I get a lot of broken ones. But another thing is, don't sleep on those, right?
Yeah.
I buy those for 20, 25 bucks a pop, sell them for 100, 120. People buy them really fast. So there's so much money to be made in the gaming space that it's insane. You know, add phones to it, add gaming, add camera, there's so many different options here, right? And this is one, I brought an expert to share with you guys. Gaming is another route you guys can go down, right? You don't have to go down the phones route. It's not necessary. You can, be like Matt and make 1,500 plus a month flipping game stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's probably another thing that compelled me to want to look at the games is diversification. And you and I have talked about this, is there's a crap ton of phone flippers out there. And I realized that as soon as I started taking a phone flipping course, I was like, my gosh, man, there's a good number of these guys, and there's more since then, but it's still not really that competitive in my opinion.
No, it's not really.
But it's like, where else can I go to find things that people don't want to mess with? And it's like, if someone has, oh, here's an Xbox, let's say they have an Xbox 360 Elite console, which came out quite a number of years back. And they have, 4 controllers and 15 games, and it's like listed for just $60. Dude, that's a dub. That's a win all day. And so I was the one nerding out doing the research, kind of looking for, okay, where can I see this found money in places that when everyone's off chasing phones. And so it's kind of like, in the market, if you've ever done anything with stocks or crypto or whatever, it's like when everyone's saying, hey, buy, it's time to sell, and vice versa. So when you see a horde of people running towards phones, like Chris says, diversify, grab GPS monitors, and
there's so many things, man. Like, that's why I love diversifying so much. I love buying game consoles. Once you get to the point where you can appraise just about anything, you're unstoppable at that point.
It's just dollar bills floating in front of you, and it's almost hard to work for anyone else, because you're like, I pull up Facebook now and I'm just like, oh, it's $30. It's like, do I want to go chase the money? Because I see it all the time. It's like, oh, there's $50, there's $100. So I typically only go in on the deals where I can like 80 to 100% my ROI or extra.
Yeah.
I bought
deals are awesome.
A PS4 Pro from a guy, no joke, like 3 weeks ago for $50. Because like those deals don't exist. And I'm like, oh, they do exist. It also had a PS4 VR kit with it.
Wow.
So I paid him for the kit straight up, because I saw a PS4 Pro sitting in the background. I was like, well, do you want that? He goes, well, it's my brother's. He just played it in the garage. It's kind of dirty. And I was like, well, what do you want for it? He's like, I'll give you the whole bundle for $300. So he sold me the PS4 VR kit plus a PS4 Pro with like 2 controllers and like everything. And if you know about the PS4 VR kit, it will resell. It resells regularly for about $250.
Wow.
And so, again, I'm going to break even on that, but I already sold the PS4 Pro for $350. So,
gosh. Well, guys,
how could you go wrong, guys?
Can't go wrong with that. So, I like to keep these 6-figure flipper shows kind of short. So, guys, I hope you guys got some value out of this. And this is also a 6-figure show exclusive. So this one won't actually be streamed on YouTube. So this is solely for this new membership group. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope you guys go find an Oculus Quest within the next day or 2. So
do it.
Matt, dude, I really appreciate you coming on and helping these guys and moving the needle forward for the next generation of resellers to quit their 9-to-5s, make some money on their own, and grow.
Yeah, get out there, guys. Source some product. Everyone's trying to get rid of these things. We're just trying to put dollars in your pocket and help you experience something cool that we've both had the joy of experiencing. And it's empowering. So, just like Chris is here to help you guys win, I feel the same. And, we're rooting for you guys. And if you guys need something or want to be a part of this group, then man, you should join up. It's a really great niche crew of people to be a part of.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end the show, and I'll see you guys next week on the Six Figure Flipper Show. And yeah, I'll talk to everybody soon. And see you guys later. I'm gonna try and stop this screen share. No, it's not going to. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I'll talk to you afterwards, Matt. And
Cool.
see you next week, everybody.